I don't actually like the term Enlightenment Intensive. I still find it just a little bit uncomfortable. I came across these retreats before I knew their name through an interesting story, but the point is I came across the book Tell Me Who You Are by Jake Chapman, and just the title spoke to me. I went, that's it, I need to know who I am. And I read the book from cover to cover, and I was unable to go on one of these retreats because I was expecting my second child at the time, and then I had to wait another 3 years because I was a committed nursing mother and I couldn't leave either of my two small children for 3 days until they were sufficiently weaned. And the point being, had I known that these retreats were called Enlightenment Intensives, I would probably have turned in the other direction and never looked at them again, because I wasn't going to be having anything to do with this woo, kaftan wearing, dolphin music, gong banging nonsense then. And even now, I come at it with a bit of trepidation and wish I didn't have to admit that I'm sort of one of that tribe now, although I don't want to be a member of any tribe. Dear me, this is not going well. Push on. So even now, I don't go to an Enlightenment Intensive for a spiritual experience. I go for the truth, the absolute truth of the object that I'm working on. And my drive then was to find the real truth of me, because I was fed up with saying no in circumstances where I knew inside I wish I'd said yes or I wanted to, and worse, saying yes in circumstances where, dear me, I wish I'd said no, which I'd had the integrity. So I was really conscious of my own lack of internal integrity. And I just figured that going and finding out who I really was underneath all of this confusion would be very helpful. And it was. And then, after a couple of retreats, I didn't get to the absolute truth of myself on my first couple of retreats. I then got to the absolute. And the thing about the absolute that is so striking is that I couldn't negate it. I couldn't argue with it. I couldn't get under it, outside it, sideways. Whereas my ego mind perspective of myself, I can argue left and right and good and bad and up and down, and that's good and that's bad, and they're both true. But the absolute, there's something about this bedrock. And so I would cautiously suggest that it's exactly what people who are going for a spiritual experience are going for as well. That's it, the absolute truth. The absolute is the absolute. And if you want to call it spiritual, then great. Then yeah, okay. I just don't feel comfortable. Because what is it? It's the absolute truth. How can that be spiritual? It's the absolute truth. I just wanted to say that out loud, finally. Thank you for listening. And today's my birthday.